That's the doorbell at Jimmy's house. Now, when you come to my house, my doorbell sounds like this.
Hello?
Awesome.
Glenn, we're live.
Awesome.
Do you see it?
Well, just like that. Well, there was a second URL.
Glenn, are you there?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I can hear you. I didn't know who you were talking to.
Okay.
Now it says we're live again. It just said we weren't. Now it says we are. The speaker is literally going in circles. So I'm going to assume we're live right now.
I believe we are. Yes.
Okay. So to anyone listening, we apologize for the technical difficulties. That's, I think, what happens when you have crappy internet service by Spectrum, and you can't get internet by anyone else but Spectrum because they have a monopoly in your area. So thank you, Spectrum, for the crappy internet service. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like we lost our listeners and all that too, but they can pick it up later. We were talking about the police in the Times article about the LAPD and the racial profiling. Yeah, it looks like we're live now, so it should be good, hopefully.
And we're on the same speaker page too.
Are we?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how, but hey, whatever.
It's magic.
Okay. I think it's magic that...
Just before everything went to crap, I was saying we have people like Kamala Harris trying to run for president who love black people getting killed by cops and support it, don't care, support the cops no matter what they do. And then, well, that's liberals for you, right? Conservatives and liberals, they're all the same.
Yeah. Well, they have the same benefactors.
Yeah.
So I guess when you open it in browser, like if you're on Twitter or something, it says, it doesn't say that the show is live, but you can press play and it plays. So,
and it plays
okay.
What's happening right now live, or is it playing the older show? Because we've done like 3 shows now.
No, it plays this one. It says live.
Okay.
So,
yeah, and if not, peoplesradiounited.com will have it. And we're talking like people will hear it on here and go there. So, I mean, they have to already be there to hear us. So, what we're saying now is kind of useless.
But it looks good in hindsight for the record.
Yeah. Oh, wait, look. Stewart, Acorn Electron. Hang on, I've got the new page now. Yeah, our internet just cut off. It just went dead. That's what happened. And if it does it again, we're not going to come back.
That's right, 3 strikes.
Yeah, so far it says live, so we're good. It was spinning a minute ago. Let's just thank Spectrum.
Well, unless it was a DNS issue, because that happened to me a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I did just update a whole bunch of things. That could be it too. Like, I don't know. Maybe one of the updates was flawed.
Well, I mean, I just stick with my ISP's DNS anyway, because it's easy. But, yeah, they dropped their DNS for like half the city.
Wow.
Twice within 20 minutes. And try and get them to admit that. Forget it. It'll never happen.
We got people confused right now. Yeah, so it could be anything. Could be anything. But let's just make it sound cool and say they don't want us online here. They want to suppress our speech, so they shut us down.
Well, that works. We should call Savannah Guthrie then. Oh,
That's what
sorry.
you say. That's what that. Oh, here you third time. Oh, PM Beers is in the chat. That's what you do when you're having technical difficulties. When you want to make it sound really cool, you be like, they don't want our voices heard. They're trying to shut us down.
Yeah,
Oh man.
that'll work.
Yeah,
Okay,
there you go.
well, this is.
I think Trump personally commanded our show be shut down. But you know what? The Pope made a couple calls because he's our number one fan and it's back up now. Like
That's
Prince,
true.
like the late great Prince said, "You could be the president. I'd rather be the Pope." You don't know that song,
That's,
Glenn?
nope.
Look it up on Google. Eventually, you'll hear it. You'll say, "Wow, hey, did we lose Judy? Probably so. We lost everybody for a minute." So yeah, let's
Well,
just move on before we get shut off again because Spectrum is having issues. I've been having internet issues for the last day or two, so it's nothing new. I was hoping it would be cool. Yeah, it sucks for video games. Um, so yeah, number two, a group of racist white young men from Covington Catholic School wearing "Make America Great Again" hats, which is the equivalent of a modern day Klan hood, are being treated like victims by mainstream media for being called out on their racism and they are being called heroes by other racist Trump supporters and are now being invited to the White House to be rewarded for their racist behavior. Have you seen that whole thing, Glenn, with the little asshole kids?
Oh, yeah.
They're not even kids. They're like, if they were black, they'd be grown adults out at the age of 12. So I call them young men now.
Well, I mean, I got asked about it, and I said, well, my issue is what the fuck are busloads of white, entitled Christo fascists getting bused to D.C. to argue about how many rights a woman has to begin with? Why are they even there? Why are they being sent there? Why don't these Christian zealots read their laws and understand that Roe v. Wade happened, and if you don't like it, you don't have to get an abortion, okay? Otherwise, fuck off.
But they're the future of America with 3 Ks.
Yeah, exactly. If the future is 1880.
I don't know. We didn't, but they just put one of them, a future version of them in the Supreme Court.
Yeah, I did see one good meme this week with this 10 years thing, the pictures 10 years apart or whatever. I saw one 20 years apart, and it was smirking Nazi and Kavanaugh. Figured, yeah, that seems about right.
Stewart says they were sent to do God's work. What is this, the Blues Brothers? We're on a mission from God.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my issue. Why are these assholes even there? All the other stuff that's been posted since, with them, catcalling women, and just what a bunch of fucking assholes.
Yeah, I keep hearing, well, you need to watch the rest of the footage. I've watched all of it. I don't see what this tells me that's any different than how horrible these kids are. And how horrible, you really got to look at whoever's raising these kids to be this horrible.
Yep. That's it. This is institutional. This isn't a bunch of smartasses. This is what they're fucking taught.
Yeah, I mean, there's pictures of a basketball game where they're in blackface, and everyone's like, it wasn't blackface, it was blackout makeup. You have a bunch of white dudes painting themselves black with white around their eyes and lips.
Yep.
And it's called blackout, and there's one black kid there. Well, I mean, come on, I'm not going to say it, but I mean, what are they trying to get the black guy out? What is this whole thing about? That seems extremely wrong any way you look at it. But it's like nothing they can do is wrong. Every time they hired a whole PR firm for this one kid because his mom works. She's some big financial officer at some bank or something. So he goes on there and he looks all meek and mild and I was just trying to bring peace here and there. And even the stupid ass young Turks who disappoint me more and more by the day. I don't know why I'm surprised. They went off and were like, the black Israelites, those were the bad guys. How are you going to say that? Black Israelites have been around since as long as I can remember, man. And they're ridiculous. They're funny. I mean, one of my homies got into a fight with him. He was black. They don't even like black people. But he wasn't even getting in a fight. He was just he was being funny and mocking them, and they were really mad at him. So the dude would say something, like, he'd say some outrageous thing about him, like, some kind of demeaning thing. And then the guy next to him would just randomly open his Bible and read some passage. And they'd look like, yeah. And then he'd say something else, and the guy would open up the Bible another page and read some random passage. Had nothing to do with what they were saying, but that solved the problem. They were like, they're insane, man. They're some little cult religion. They're no different than any Scientologist or Westboro Baptist Church or any of these other whack job religions,
Yeah.
But with all this going on, you got all these racists with MAGA hats on, and there's a native march for to stop pipelines, which is very important. The most important thing going on there, because the black Israelites are a joke, and the MAGA people are a joke. You know what I mean? So. The only people there with any kind of actual purpose was the native cats. And they coming through there, and then they're like, oh, he invaded our space with a drum. I don't know, usually when there's drums around, it's a good thing. It's not like the old days when there's like some Confederate soldiers with the little kid with a drum walking in front of them going to war or whatever. Or revolution, whatever that crap was. I mean, it's like, it's a drum. It's a musical instrument. That's like someone saying this white guy had a guitar. I had to fear for my life. Like, what? It's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, this is just so obvious of the corporate media. Hang on. The corporate media over-focusing on something. Because, like I said, if he just pulled back the lens and looked at the bigger picture, the discussion's over. This was the weekend internationally for women's marches. And this crypto-fascist school sends busloads of adolescent asshole males to a national women's march. This is like four guys.
They were counter-protesters, though. That's the whole thing was it's called March for Life or something, and it was a counter-protest to the women's march. Like, it was bigger than just them. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, let's take the same circumstances and let's say that there's an NFL game. And say it's two teams that are pretty close together. Say it's Dallas and Houston. So the game's in Houston, and there's a huge lot party before it. So 12 guys are going to dress up in all Dallas Cowboys gear and go fucking walk around in there and smirk at everybody. You think some shit ain't going to go down? You can't go there in those circumstances with that attitude and be allowed to claim we weren't doing anything wrong. Bullshit. Your provocation is cause enough.
They're religious hooligans.
It's like any actual, real street protest, which might or might not turn into a riot. If you go there representing the wrong fucking thing in the wrong place, you know what you're going to get, because that's how it works. So let's just drop all the bullshit about these poor civilized Christians got accosted. They shouldn't even been there. If they had respect, they wouldn't even be there. That's the bottom line. But that's the last thing the media wants to talk about.
Those hats, though, man. Those hats. When you see those hats, you know those are people looking for trouble, trying to prove how racist and terrible a person they are. Like, there's no other reason to wear that hat.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I've never seen anyone good wearing one of those hats. That hat is like, I'm a racist, I'm proud of it, and I'm mobbing this hat. You want to mess with me because of it, then I'll cry like I'm the little victim.
Well, I think the bigger issue, even in specifics, is you see that hat, you know, I'm a follower. That's the number one thing.
I don't know, man, because I might agree with you on the follower thing, but I've been to protests where there's NSM Nazis, like literal Nazis with swastikas. Some of them have those hats on. There's KKK members. Some of them have the logos of the KKK, the Trump hat. And then there's the people that we're not with the Nazis or the KKK. We're just standing with them in solidarity for Trump because we love America. You know, we've talked about that before. We don't need to get into it, but yeah, those are the people that wear that hat. Nobody decent wears that hat. That is a hat that's, like I said, it's the equivalent of a Klan's hood.
Yeah, well, I mean, like the German phrase goes, you sit down at a table with 10 Nazis, and you've got 11 Nazis.
Yeah.
That's it. That's how it goes, man.
Yeah, Stuart here has a point. He said, if those kids had been from any other religion, do you think the MSM would have reacted the same way?
Absolutely not.
No. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely not. They're hardcore Catholic fanatics. That's, I mean, you know, let's face it, I'm old. I can remember when it was a discussion about John F. Kennedy being a Catholic. Holy shit. Never mind all this stuff that happened later on about, well, you know, especially Obama. But I mean, there were marches because John F. Kennedy was a Catholic. We can't let him become president. You know, I mean,
yeah.
This is America. You know? A lot of the world just can't figure it out why you people just can't get past some shit, man.
Yeah, it's I think religion is irrelevant, but I mean, like as far as what someone's doing, like, keep it to yourself. No one needs to know about it. But yeah, they that's part of the identity. Like, if you look at these conspiracy whack job YouTube videos and websites that I've been looking at a lot because they're so funny, they all bring in like God, and God is anointed and put Trump here to save the world from this, and it's crazy, dude. These people are insane. It's God, America, Trump. God, America, Trump. Everything's like all connected. Trump is going to bring the end of the world so all the good people can go to heaven. Trump is going to do this. Trump is this. God's going to come down from heaven and do something to Trump. It's insane. Even that crazy Q fool. I really like that guy. I just see what he's doing. He's just trolling Trump supporters. He's got a merchandise thing going on now. So he's just basically, he's got all these stupid people that are willing to buy all this merchandise. He's probably making a crap load of money off them.
Oh, definitely.
So, you know, he's robbing Trump supporters, but he's making them crazier. That's the problem, though.
But it's America. That's not his problem.
Yeah.
But all these dominionists, these motherfuckers are planted all over the world in right-of-center parties. There were a lot of people in the Harper government that Canada had for 9 years that were dominionists. And that is their deal. Second coming, Armageddon, all this bullshit. These people are serious about it. So they're everywhere, and they do never get rebuked by press or anybody else. They barely even ever get mentioned. That's the thing that I think proves that they're scary. When there are groups out there that just don't even get mentioned. You know, it's like the mafia used to be. It's like the Bilderbergs used to be. Nobody knew who they were. The Dominionists are along the same lines.
Well, here it's the norm. Like it's any church you go into, that's how they are. They want the end of the world. They want everyone to die. They want this giant war so it could all be over with and they can go to heaven. But none of them want to die here. They're like, oh my God, like Peter Tosh said, everyone want to go to heaven, but none of them want to die. That's real. But no, it's the norm here. That's how these people really think. They might not all be like the Trump cult ones, but they all want the end of the world. They want death, destruction, mayhem, revelations to happen.
Well, that is a cult. You know, I don't see that as anything but a cult because I think back to Jim Jones. You know, and he's quite willing to sacrifice everybody there, but he didn't intend to die. Fuck that.
Heaven's Gate, Jim Jones, there's so many of them.
Yeah.
What is that other dude that he's in prison, I think? Was it Bhagwan Rajneeshis or something? He had all these people living in the backyard of his mansion after they gave him all his worldly possessions.
Yeah. And the Branch Davidians.
Branch Davidians, yeah. All them cats. They always end badly. But see,
that's the thing.
This is such a big cult. When it ends badly, it's going to be on a massive scale.
Well, there's the power of the internet for you.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, you can go back as far as you want in history. Look at all the noise that's made about Spartans and Vikings and, you know, how and the Mongols. You know, these guys just did nothing but kick ass. Well, yeah, they're also fucking crazy. So, you know, if you can assemble enough crazy people in enough places, you can project a hell of a lot more power than you've got. And, you know, that's the one difference that I see in the U.S. Online and all the free media that the right-wing radicals get. When push comes to shove, they ain't no big thing at all. But you never know it if all you did was surf the internet.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, is there a motive to that? Who knows? You know, I ain't making money off it, so I ain't on the inside.
A lot of people are. I mean, just turn on the television. You got all these TV preachers. They're getting paid off. I mean, look at Peter Popoff. He goes to prison. He gets out. Jim Baker goes to prison. He gets out. They went to prison for fraud and robbing these people blind and deceiving people. And then they come out and they get this whole congregation comes right back like, oh, you were treated so unfairly.
That's right. You know, I mean, just imagine that, you know, like you said,
there's evidence of how terrible these people are and they still have followers, man. It's insane.
But that's an ultimate us versus them situation. You know, our leader has been robbing us blind. He got caught. He went to jail. Oh, no, absolutely not. They wanted to persecute him. That's the way they look at it. And they're done. You know?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, let's move on. So, this is more a statement than a topic. There is a U.S.-backed right-wing coup going on in Venezuela right now. That's it. Then we can move on to number 4. No, but that's happening right now, and all these people have, especially in our media, they seem to always find some quote unquote person from Venezuela who knows that the U.S. is right.
Yeah, that's just like all the Cubans they talk to in Miami, who are all fucking dope dealers or human traffickers. You know, same thing, man. Same thing. I mean, this has been building for a while. I mean, I've said for a long time, the only reason that Keystone XL is trying to get built is to put Venezuela out of business. Because the oil that'll be in that pipe coming from Canada is about the same quality as the Venezuelan oil. And right now there's a lot of oil from Venezuela that goes across the Gulf of Mexico to the refineries on the Texas coast, and then it goes all over the U.S. And the whole idea is to keep polluting the shit out of where I live and make all that oil and send it to Houston and then cut Venezuela out of the deal. Because even with the bullshit going on today with whatever the orange goofballs got to say, they made it clear that they're not going to be stopping importing oil from Venezuela anytime soon. That's not in the cards.
I don't know if you happen to seen the new PragerU commercial. It's on YouTube in front of all the new videos.
Nope.
Oh, they got this really nice woman from Venezuela talking about, but you don't know she's from Venezuela yet, because she sounds white, but she's saying all this terrible. It's a country where people die, a country where there's constant war and suffering, a country where people pay 70-something% taxes, maybe more. And she goes on, it's like, and I'm thinking to myself before the tax thing, I'm like, is she talking about the United States? Because it was just like, she's talking about the worst, terrible stuff going on. People are getting murdered in the streets and this and that. And after she said the taxes, she goes, that's socialism. And that's what's happening in Venezuela right now. And she
Wow.
goes, and then she just tells who she is, and she's Venezuelan American. She probably never even been there, but supposedly she's from there. Maybe she left as a baby, who knows? But the whole thing is, it's just like nothing about how we've destabilized most of South America. The United States has just destroyed so much stuff down there, and then we hold them responsible for what we've done to them. It's ridiculous. That's what capitalism has done down there. Robbing people blind and what do they call it? Economic terrorism, somebody called it the other day. But yeah,
Well,
it's like just like the Catholic dude stuff, man. It's always a spin, this right wing spin on everything.
well, again, a lot of it's got to do with the length of time people can remember anything, which seems to get shorter all the time. But this, you show me another country that's going to be considered legitimate when there's a guy who won the election with 67%, and every organization in the world has said it was a clean and fair election. So this guy, who's the head of a citizens coalition that was set up with foreign money and has no actual power in government, this guy's going to stand up and say, I'm president because I said the oath. And all the Western puppets say, yeah, we support him. Yeah, he's the president now.
I kind of like that, though.
Talk about mailing it in.
I think I'm going to go to Washington. I'm going to get a plane ticket, and I'm going to stand in front of the White House and say, I'm the president. Maybe it'll be like a whole coup for me.
Maybe not.
You're such a naysayer, Glenn.
This is just so ridiculous to even be passed off as legitimate. And now here in Canada today, it's coming out about how our incredibly superwoman Minister of External Affairs or Global Affairs or whatever the fuck they call it these days was talking to this guy on the phone the day before. So, as usual, Canada is right there at the heel of the U.S.
Yeah, you guys did not take the high road on this one at all.
Nope. But I'll tell you,
that shocked me when I heard that Canada backed that. Honestly, it did. I was like,
no.
whoa.
But morally, yeah, it's garbage. But in the real world, let's consider what's happening for the moment. The new trade deal, the USMCA, has still not been passed. The deadline is approaching, and this shutdown is not helping. The next issue is the Canadians in jail in China. The next issue is this 5G controversy that's going on with Huawei and all this bullshit. Then the other thing is Canada wants a seat back on the UN Security Council. Well, this will certainly help out in that regard. And Canada also wants the tariffs against our aluminum and steel based on national security grounds lifted. So if you want to try and move all those things along with this kind of Washington, D.C., this is what you do. That's the reality.
Yeah.
You know, and I wish somebody would just go on the fucking TV and say all of that. And it probably put 5,000 people out of work. You know?
No, they just get attacked and called liars and all kinds of stuff and crazy. That's how it works now. They just send a big mob of right-wing fascists to discredit you with no real evidence, but...
Well, yeah, don't worry. I mean, it may come yet where we'll see the shaking camera footage from inside his bedroom with his red silk pajamas and his copy of Mein Kampf, like every other guy they've kicked out has had in the last 40 years. Same props all the time.
Man.
Well, I mean, you know, that's the biggest thing. This is a clean election. The guy's the president. That's it. You don't like it? Tough shit. You know? These people live there.
I mean,
but
hasn't the U.S. done that to a lot of people? I mean, we love these dictators, especially now with Trump. I mean, he loves Duarte, he loves Erdogan, he loves Putin, he owes Putin everything, you know. But then we went after all these people, these politicians like Chavez and
Morales.
Yeah, I mean, we're constantly doing it. We're constantly just messing with South America, like nonstop.
Yeah, that's because they won't play ball, man. What the fuck is wrong with those guys? They won't play ball.
But why should they? That's their country.
Of course. But I mean, that's what you hear at the UN, and that's what you hear in Washington and Ottawa, and at least Mexico is not going along. AMLO said, fuck that. Maduro is the president. End of story.
Yeah, well, I mean, the South American countries are like, they don't really mess with each other's. I mean, as far as I know, they don't go after each other like we do. We go and just attack them down there. They're kind of like, oh, that's their country. They're gonna do their thing. That's their country. They're gonna do their thing. Just don't mess with us. You know what I mean? That's the way it seems. It's always been for a long time on the in South America. But then North America comes, or United States, North America comes and doesn't like anything they do and wants to oust government officials and presidents and leaders and stuff. It's ridiculous.
Oh, don't worry. Canada's just as guilty. Canada is the leading mining headquarters country in the world. Like 80% of all the mineral mining in the world, it traces back to a Canadian company. And, you know, there's been lawsuits down there that try and get hidden up here in Canada. They've been in Ecuador. They've been in a couple, Guatemala, a couple other places. And these Canadian mining corporations are being held liable, and they're getting judgments against them in the tens of millions of dollars for killing people, for polluting, for all kinds of shit. And, you know, it hasn't been proven yet, but yeah, there's enough different instances where people claim that Canadian mining corporations hiring hit squads in South America. So, yeah, Canada's right there.
Wow. So North America.
Yeah.
North I don't even more North America. It's just as bad as Middle America. Well, I guess we're Middle North America.
Oh no, you're just America.
America with 3 Ks.
Yeah, 3, at least 2.
Yeah.
See, when I use that in a tweet, I only use 2 because I don't want to invite that kind of shit.
Yeah. It's not. We're gonna go on a tangent real quick, probably shortly. Just I'm sure everybody listening knows, and everyone who will listen will probably know by then. But Roger Stone house got raided, and he got arrested this morning. And then he got out and was throwing up "I'm not a crook" kind of, the 2 victory things by Nixon, and saying he's totally innocent. It's all lies, fake news, blah blah blah. He's probably hoping for a pardon.
Well, whatever. I mean, you have to think about the role models that somebody like Roger Stone had. And I kind of think of Gordon Gekko on Wall Street. And they fought and fought and fought and fought and fought to not get caught. Then when they finally got caught, they made it out like they were a fucking demagogue. Suck it all up. There is no bad publicity. I think that's exactly what Stone's doing.
Yeah, none of these people are going to get sentences that are long enough for what they've done. I mean, if anybody on a small scale did anything like that, I mean, they'd be gone forever.
Yeah,
like imagine imagine some little gangbanger, just some little gangster dude or some little mafia dude, low level kind of guy was doing that kind of stuff, lying to feds, lying under oath, doing all this. He'd be gone. He'd be through. They'd pile up so many charges. But the thing is, most of these people are going to get off with a slap on the wrist. I mean, yeah, they're saying, 3 years in jail or 7 years. That's nothing compared to what a lot of people are getting for a lot less. You know what I mean? And Trump's going to get some kind of deal in the end. Just resign and you'll be okay. We'll let you not have to do any time. His family's going to get off. Their name will be ruined probably, if that even comes to that. You know what I mean? That's the next thing we're going to talk about, actually. But go ahead before we jump into that.
Okay, well, a tangent on the tangent. I think the best thing that could possibly happen for the world is just for Trump to drop dead. Otherwise, if you want to talk about the differences between classes, say there's a 16-year-old runner for a small dope gang, and they owed, I'll pick $2,000 because that's an important amount, and he was sent to take it to another gang to pay him off. And the feds are watching, and they step in. Well, that kid is going to be charged under RICO, and he's probably going to get 20 years for obeying an order. Then you got people like Stone, who fly around the world, conduct business on their own behalf with full knowledge, exchange, 9 digits, who knows? And yeah, well, we'll give him 3 years. We'll send him to a low security federal that has one road in and one road out. We can keep the media away. He'll be there for maybe 14 months, and then they'll turn him out on parole. That's the difference.
Yeah. And these people's lives aren't even going to be ruined. They're so rich already. What does it matter? I mean, look at. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I don't want to.
No, the only thing it does to people in this group is it severely stunts their future income. That's all it does. Because there's a lot of heat, and that's just part of the system, the corporate system in the U.S. I mean, it's just like hackers that have done their time. They get out of jail. There's a couple corporations waiting for them, and then these corporations start going through all the paperwork and the extra costs of just hiring this person. Doesn't matter how smart they are. The big question is, what do they cost us? And for a lot of them, it gets to the point where it's just too much. It's too much out of the ordinary. You know, the Bureau is going to be involved. You have to face that. So if you got anything else going on at your company that you're not really anxious to have the Bureau around, that's a big factor all of a sudden. You know? And that's just part of the system. It's not because of the hacker that's looking for a fucking job. That's the system.
Yeah, that's why Michael Cohen isn't going to testify, because his father-in-law is an arch criminal, evidently. But the thing I'm curious about is, so Trump and Giuliani, all these people know this dude's a criminal, know about all his crimes, but as long as he keeps his mouth shut, they won't say anything. You're the president of the United States, don't you? Hey, law and order, what happened to all this? Shouldn't you expose all crime, even if it's your ex-buddy's father-in-law? It's insane. So he's admitting, I know this guy's an arch criminal, he works with the mafia, blah, 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 but we won't say anything as long as you keep your mouth shut. You just be good and we won't punish you. But what is that? They should turn him in either way. Law and order, right? That's what they're all about. Like
I know.
You know what happened to WeTip? Why isn't Trump on the line right now with the feds being like, look, this dude's father is an arch criminal. He works with the mafia. I'll give you all the information you need to take him down. But knowing Trump, probably some of that implicates him, so he's too stupid to realize it.
Well, that's just it. When you run in a circle of thieves, everybody's got a certain amount of power over everybody else. So that's the one thing, but...
Except Putin. He's the head thief in that circle.
Well, he's out of jurisdiction. Let's put it that way. But this whole circle jerk, I mean, this is just the way it goes. And consider the character who's sitting at the top of the pyramid. That's the worst possible person that could be there. Because if any of these other assholes are going to get busted federally, it's very likely he's involved somewhere. That's all there is to it. That's the one thing about corrupt governments and autocracies. This is what happened in the Philippines when Marcos finally got kicked out.
It is, yeah.
Everybody was his family. So as soon as he was gone, everybody was gone.
Yep.
And a lot of them, his cousins and nephews, they ended up dead, you know, because they just weren't that important anymore when you have to get out of Dodge. But it's going to be the same thing. Trump's the absolute worst, but I know I've said it on this show before. You go back to Harry Truman. He's a son of a bitch, but he's our son of a bitch. And that shit still holds true, man. Absolutely. And that's for any government.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's exactly.
And it's just, you know, the more filth that there is further up the ladder, then, you know, it's just that much worse. You know,
Yeah,
there could be...
It's like any crime group. Just like you said, it's like any syndicate, any crime group, any mafia, any family.
Yeah. You know, and it's just the level of it. You know, you could have a den of thieves who did nothing but breaking into cars. And then you have a den of thieves like these fuckers. But they have the same code of silence, shall we say.
Yeah. Man.
People are people.
Governments are governments, and they're corrupt.
Yep.
All of them.
But as far as this coup thing goes, you know, fine. All the American states. I mean, I watched Secretary of State Mike Pompous butt his way into the OAS meeting and recommend to everybody to recognize Mr. Public Group Leader to be the president. You know, and everybody who was already on side had one look on their face. Everybody else had another look on their face. And there's been nowhere near unanimity from the Organization of American States on doing anything about it. It's just that there's a lot of countries that are being quiet. All the guys that are for regime change are forced to come out. That's part of the deal. You have to stand with us. You know, it's that old Bush with us or against us bullshit. But everybody who's against but doesn't want to draw shit, they're just not saying anything. And as far as the rest of the world goes, I mean, what do you expect? You expect Britain, maybe France, Spain. You know, whoop-de-doo. Where's Germany? Germany don't want shit to do with this. Japan don't want shit to do with this. So it's nothing but a serious PR campaign right now. The military has said that Maduro is their commander, and I think it's a good thing that was said. So I imagine there's going to be some death, no doubt about it. But I think Maduro can probably last it out, you know. It's going to take military force to remove him. They're not going to be able to do it from the inside. It's just not going to happen.
Oh, Bernie Sanders supports the coup, I had heard yesterday.
Well, of course he does. He's in the club.
No. We know this. I just want everyone else to know this. Because they seem to think he can do no wrong.
Fuck.
He also supported tons of wars and all kinds of other stuff, but we're not going to talk about him right now. But it was just a timely kind of thing to bash Bernie Sanders a little bit too, which is always good. Knock their heroes to the ground.
Well, I mean, again, it's the tunnel vision of their target, and their target is, you know, everything and everyone influenced by U.S. media. That's the target. You watch American networks, and it's all, you know, like I said, the Cubans in Miami. Yeah, that's why you're in Miami, right? And it's the same thing there. But then if you watch Telesur or if you watch Al Jazeera, you see way more people saying, this is fucking bullshit. We just elected this guy. This is who we want. But you don't see that. You don't see that on American TV because you're not allowed to. And that goes for Democracy Now! And PBS and everybody else. All the same.
Yeah, even the independent media, like the cats on YouTube that are supposed to be quote unquote progressives, whatever that is. It's just Democrats. It's just another word for loser Democrats.
Now, I think progressive and YouTube translates into post-millennial cash-in. That's all that means.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Yeah, but that's true. But they're all Democrats.
Well, of course they are.
And
because
when I say this, they're like, oh, so you're a Trump? No, I hate the Republicans too. Everyone knows this. It's just it's just two sides of the same coin, and they're both so stupid and so evil and so much the same at the same time.
But that's confusing. Who do I cheer for? You know, but the reason they say they're Democrats is because that's where all the young money is to be had.
Yeah.
You know, if it was the other way around, they'd be the other way around. I mean,
progressive is just a new word for liberal.
Well, I mean, we kind of got on this with the guest I interviewed yesterday, and I said, look at Twitter, look at the U.S. You got like Jacob Wohl, Charlie Kirk, these smart-ass fucking frat boys who have a sales pitch. That's it. And it's making them money. So they could give a shit what they're saying. Just where's my money?
Yeah, I guess if you're a capitalist on either side, the Democrats, the Republicans, and you're a good talker, a good hustler, and a good BS artist.
Yeah,
you could make a lot of money off these idiots because nobody I mean, not nobody, but both sides have a whole bunch of really, really stupid, just blind followers.
Yep.
It's our
Well,
side is good, their side bad.
but that's how it's conditioned, though, too. You're only supposed to have two choices. So we can keep the control groups centralized.
Yeah,
That's it.
definitely.
More than two choices, we don't like that. Make everything war or peace, life or death, black or white. And the two wings of the same organization never lose. The house always wins.
Yeah, this kind of goes into the next subject, the last topic. We're gonna have a short show because I don't know what's going on with this internet thing, and I just don't want to do a long show today. So, so yeah, I know everyone's seen like Trump and wow, what is it, Laura Trump, Eric Trump's wife, and this other guy, I can't think of his name right now either. But they're all saying things like, "Oh, these federal workers, what's wrong with them? Everything will work
Mm.
out." Trump says everything will work out. She's like, "They're gonna go down in history as heroes for making a small sacrifice to save America." And then I gotta look up his name. He's saying, "Why don't they just take out a small loan,
Yeah, yeah.
and just pay some interest and they'll be okay." And these people are all billionaires, right? Every one of them is a billionaire. So my
Yep.
question is, why do we keep hiring rich people to run a country full of poor people? It's obvious they can't even comprehend what it's like. Not like. Well, I'm sorry. It's obvious they can't even comprehend what it's like to not be filthy rich. But these people can lie to these people. I mean, these ruling class can lie to the people. They can rob the people blind. They can even kill the people. And you know what? The people will say, "Oh, we're still going to keep voting for one of them. We're going to
Well,
vote
I
for our
mean,
guy no matter what he does,
there you
or our
go.
woman, or whatever." Go ahead. Sorry.
No, there you go. You just answered the question. The people are tolerating it. In the bigger picture, the people are tolerating it.
You
Whether
think they're
they
tolerating it, or you think they're just too stupid to realize what's happening?
that's a cause. That's a symptom. I mean, they're still tolerating it at the end of the day. I mean, there have been some revolutions with nothing but people who clean toilets for a living, but they got together and got suitably pissed off. I mean, division and apathy is what's killing the Western world, and it's by design. If people, I mean, it's obvious now. The governments are going to keep pushing until they can't push anymore. They're not going to stop. Why should they? I mean, you want to be an egomaniac son of a bitch. Look at it from the side of the power structure. Why should I stop? There's no opposition. We are the opposition. So, you know,
I keep saying this over and over again to everybody.
I mean, this is what's eventually going to happen in Venezuela. All those people who just want to keep the government they have and let's fucking get shit together. We know the U.S. is sanctioning us off the face of the earth, but let's keep going. Sooner or later, all those people are going to say, okay, that's enough. Let's get rid of these wingnuts. And then there will be some serious violence in Venezuela. But
I don't know.
numbers are numbers. And when push comes to shove, the Maduroistas will turn out.
Yeah. I don't know why there's not serious violence here in the United States. We're one of the most armed populations in the world. And
Well,
I just don't know why these people aren't like, you know what? If you're not for the people, you against the people are coming for you. Here with Congress people hiding. It's not safe to be a politician or a corporate. I don't understand where we get off letting these people do this to us. We should. I mean, I don't know. They should be getting murdered in the streets. Like
well,
it should be like people just rushing thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands up into the Capitol and why just dragging people out. Like, nah, we're not having any more of this. You bankers robbing us blind? No, 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 no. You're gonna get just the prisons you love so much. We're gonna throw you in there. It's ridiculous that we don't just do that, man. They got us so divided. That's the only reason we're not doing it. Because they have us all watching each other. Oh, look at these black people over here. Look at these natives over here. Oh, these these Mexican cats don't get along with the black cats, and these cats don't get along with these cats, and these people are bad, and we can't trust these people. Oh my God, the Muslims, no. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. And the only small group is these ultra white supremacists that always get the respect of the government because they're always protected no matter what they do, and they're so small. Those are the only citizens they even give any love to. It's ridiculous, man. We can stop this anytime we choose to, and it's going to be bloody and it's going to be messy. But if not now, then when? We're going to keep letting it get worse and worse. It's ridiculous, man. We need a revolution here. That would save a lot of things around the world. The United States is such a problem. And you better believe Canada and all them would act right if something like that happened here. They'd be like, uh-oh, we better treat our citizens better. It'd be like a trickle-down act right effect, you know? I don't know.
Well, a lot of it is because of American culture. It all has a message. It's not just to consume, it's to comply. And the difference why you see actual 6-digit crowds in places like Venezuela and Colombia and Ecuador is because they don't have 500 TV channels. They don't have entire TV programs devoted to what pretty people are wearing to the degree that happens in the U.S. You know, like, they're not bombarded quite as much as Americans with things to get an emotional response. That's, you know, like you say, why? Why this? Why that? When? It's because people don't think. They're encouraged not to think. They're encouraged to feel. And that's the whole motor for this whole crock of shit, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, I had myself muted. The whole Little John joke went away.
No way.
I said we need to crank up. Little John turned down for what and get busy in the streets and shut this stuff down. But no, the reality is it's ridiculous that we let this go on. The longer it goes on, the more they militarize, the more their technology builds and they give us less and they have more. The more we wait, the longer it is, the harder and more impossible it's going to be. If we had done this 10, 20 years ago, not screaming the same thing, it'd have been done already. But no, let's keep waiting. Let's wait until they can just shut our bodies down or something. I mean, it's ridiculous, man. What are people waiting on? The only thing they have is us divided. We have to figure out how to stop being divided and just, boom, shut this thing down once and for all. I think that's the only solution I know I can think of that will work.
What would make that happen a lot faster is if people actually paid attention. That would make things a hell of a lot easier. But, you know, that's asking for a lot. I mean, like I said, day or night, black or white, that's the way it has to be. And people have to question why. You know, what happened to that? Yeah. I think, when's the last time you heard the most famous Robert F. Kennedy quote? You know, some people look at what's been done and say, why? I look at what has not been done and say, why not? And there was a point where that was a moral statement in the U.S. Now you can go years before you hear it, and it never used to be that way. So, you know, I mean, this is the sad thing. People are being encouraged not to think too hard. And, you know, there's a little bit of dopamine in it for you if you follow along.
We don't need that. We got the reefer.
Well, until it can be built into an empire for corporate means, no, you don't. That's bad.
Man, it's stupid. We just keep electing rich people. Like I say every time elections come, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And what do people do every time election seasons come? They do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. They vote for a Democrat or Republican. I mean, there's nothing else to vote for. I'm not saying you should vote for Libertarian or Green and everything will be fine. I'm just saying it's just stupid. It's a joke. It's a joke.
Again, though, I still insist that the biggest factor in that is with turnover under 80%. You know, I mean, I still say for a fact. No, I
understand your logic, but I'm saying, let's say 100% voted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what? Clinton would have been the president. Same stuff been going on. Nobody be complaining about anything.
No, because the way your system works with every seat in the House up every 2 years, there would have been some real fucking changes if everybody voted. You know, I mean, most of the people I come across that say, yeah, fuck that, it's all rigged, I ain't voting. And then you actually ask them what they believe in, where they are on the spectrum. If they voted, they would be voting left to center. And that's the problem. There's not enough votes
Sanders
left
is
to
left
center.
of center.
No, he's not.
Oh,
he's playing a man who's left of center.
I agree with that. I was just saying, but when you say left of center, most people are going to say, "Oh yeah, well we voted for Bernie. We would have voted for Bernie." That's just right wing to me. Sorry, the Democrats are right wing to me. Republicans are righter wing. That's the only difference.
Yeah, but you know the big thing is the pendulum has moved so far. The center now used to be right wing. The old center is now, you know, extreme socialism. So, I mean, the whole spectrum has been moved, and that's not by accident. You know? One thing about money, you can plan ahead.
Yeah. It's crazy.
But, you know, there are people in the U.S. that still insist Ronald Reagan was so good. Yeah, well, when did the real problems start?
Lots of people. You might be surprised how many people in the United States think that.
Which is insane.
Totally. But this whole system is insane, Glenn.
I know. But then another thing, too, you have to realize is the generation that holds power now knows that they're dying off. And the millennials are coming. And they're bigger than the boomers. So it's grab and run time.
Yeah.
And Trump's the perfect man for it, isn't he?
I mean, he's 70 years old. These people are all old. Like, what are they trying to hoard all this money for? They're not going to live forever. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but you have to think about the life they've led to get to where they are. So they got to pay back a few markers. But the other thing is, the thing I hate about the U.S. media is what this shutdown's really doing to so many things. We know about the 800,000. We know about this game about canceling Pelosi's security, and then she cancels the State of the Union, blah, blah, blah. How come I thought there's such a threat of terror? How come there's been nothing happen with air traffic yet? And those guys are getting fucked hard.
I'll tell you why. Because these is the extremists that are Islamic, like ISIS and all them, they're like, why bother? They got those MAGA fools doing our jobs for us. We can just chill and watch them and laugh. There's got to be part of it, man.
Well,
Like
I mean, yeah, they're
if the country's imploding and these psychos are out here committing acts of terror almost weekly, and what do you need to do? Sit back and let it happen. It's like if two rival gangs are fighting, and the third gang comes and starts attacking one. Those two are fighting. One's just going to sit back and watch and be like, "Yeah, let them kill each other. Then we'll clean up the mess later." So I mean, that's the way I see it. I don't know.
yeah, it's a good tactical decision if you're them. But I mean, there is nobody working at the Security and Exchange Commission. How many times you heard that on the news? Now think about Trump and his circle, and there's nobody working at the Security and Exchange Commission.
Well, you have to also realize that domestic terrorism has always been a worse problem than foreign terrorism because it's harder to do. One, and these cats, like they're not. I mean, how many foreign terrorist attacks that we had in the U.S.? Like honestly, what? Like one big one, and a couple. I mean, a guy shot two cops and they called it terrorism. The Boston bombing, they were domestic. They weren't foreign. So yeah, I mean, most of our terrorism is from within. It's
No,
just
but they
go ahead, go
weren't
ahead.
white. They weren't white like the rest of
But
Boston.
they were American citizens.
That doesn't matter.
Yes, it does. It's
Not
like
in reality.
MS-13. In reality, like MS-13. They were born in Los Angeles. I don't know what the heck they saying. Oh, we're going to stop them all at the border. Where did that even become a thing?
Yeah, but that's not what the narrative is. So whatever.
And they're not the worst gang there is. There's much worse gangs in LA alone than MS-13. So I don't even know where this, like who, did someone just say the name one day? And he's like, yeah, let's use that. All he's doing is making them notorious for no apparent reason.
Yes, MS-13 has gotten excellent free brand promotion from the American media.
Yeah, I'm sure
No
their
doubt.
their member drive is doing good.
Oh yeah, they don't even have to pay for it.
No.
But
It's so stupid the way that this country is run, and it's so stupid the way these people just sit and let it happen.
well, I mean, this is a really good example today, though, because here's this extremely rich piece of shit telling people to go to payday loans and pay loan shark rates because their employer won't fucking pay them. And like you said, people tolerate it. How blatant does it have to get?
I would have walked
You
out of
have
one
a
of them
job,
jobs.
your boss had a hissy fit, and you're not getting paid. You're missing your mortgage payment, and a representative of your boss tells you to go get a fucking loan at 20%.
I would have walked off all them
But see,
jobs.
when is it enough? This is what blows my mind. This is killing so many of Trump's base. Not only directly, but indirectly. How many stores and, private, small businesses in the Midwest, in the Rust Belt, in the South, they have clientele. They have regulars. So if half your regulars don't get paid for a month and they're having trouble keeping their house, never mind coming to your store, it affects everybody. And this is all because the orange turd is pouting.
But here's what you said earlier, Glenn, kind of applies here as well. People's memory spans are so short.
True.
This is going to be over. They already signed something, I think I saw on Twitter a minute ago, where they're giving a 14 or 15 day. They'll let the government open up for 14 or 15 days as they negotiate the border wall crap. So these people will start getting paid again. And then they'll be like, well, he screwed us over. A few months will go by. They'll get back on their feet a little bit. oh, it wasn't so bad. Then what's going to happen is Trump's going to start screaming about these terrible rapist murderers coming over here and these terrible Muslims and this and that, and they're going to be like, well, he is the only racist candidate. We're pretty racist. Let's vote for him again. I don't think it's going to make any difference. I don't think that, like he said, he could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and these people still support him, and that's what it's like. He can rob them blind. He can take their money. He can abuse them, and they'll still be there. He's our guy.
Yeah,
MAGA. Build the
yeah,
wall, crime will fall. It's insane, dude.
yeah. That does follow basic human
He's a
psychology,
cult
but
leader.
but the issue is you never know when it's going to be that one thing that's going to change the momentum, because that's how it always works. That's how it always will work. And, I don't think that Trump can keep doing whatever the fuck he wants anymore now that who was elected in midterms is there. Because it's not like Trump's got a monopoly on rat fucking the government, because he certainly doesn't. And as we see, McConnell is extremely skilled at it, if not one of the best ever.
Yeah.
And Pelosi knows how shit works too.
I was just gonna say, and Pelosi as well. Yeah, a
Oh
lot of
yeah,
them, man. On both sides of the aisle. See, that's the thing. Nobody ever
but
brings up this both sides with the government.
but the thing is, right now, it's already been started. It's already been basically accepted that this is Trump's fault, this shutdown. They tried to talk their way out of that, but they thought it would end before anybody really started getting tired of that. And it's gone on too long. And, the last thing I saw was 70-some% said it was Trump's fault.
Yeah, that's
So
70% of the people, but I bet if you polled Trump's base, it would be a much lower percent.
doesn't matter.
No, I didn't say he was going to win again. I said, but his base
No,
will
no.
never leave him, even if
Well,
they're suffering.
a certain number. A certain number, yeah. There is a base, and then there is a basement. Those are the hardcores. But the thing is, if Pelosi wants to fuck around and screw the government, you've already got the victim. You just keep going on the Trump thing, because, that's what politicians do. We're going to fuck something, but we're going to blame the guys who are here before us. So he's kind of negotiated himself into a corner again. But, what you said about what you thought might happen, just to condense it, okay, he fucked up. He had to settle, but he's going to try and sell it hard. And then he gave up all the momentum. He's not going to hold any cards, because even if they do this 14 days and they don't get a deal and that's it, government's closing again, all the Democrats have to do is say, we didn't fucking start this. And that's it. They're good. He's just played himself into a corner so poorly. And especially before it even started. The Democrats offered over $7 billion earmarked to a fucking wall, and he turned it down. Now he can't get $5.
But even before that, he had 2 years of a full House and Senate
Yep.
of Republicans, and they didn't do it. Why did, if it was so important, such a
Yep.
national emergency, why didn't they do it day one? Like, oh, sign it off. Let's get this wall built.
Yep.
Real quick, let me, off the subject, listener tangent here. This is from Stewart, Acorn Electron. Rise up for Rojava, or Rojava, however you say it. Demos and stuff happening worldwide Sunday and Monday to protest Turkey's aggression in Rojava. Dates and places, and he sent a link inside of the chat here. But also, I'm sure if you went to Acorn Electron, at Acorn Electron on Twitter, you would probably see it. He'll put it up there, and we'll go ahead and retweet it for everybody too. So thank you, Stuart, for that. But yeah, back to yeah, when Nazis attack people, it's both sides. When anything happens, it's both sides, But then when the Republicans and Democrats screw us over, it's never both sides. We're going to pick one side or the other. Yeah, Trump's more guilty, but the Democrats are guilty too. That's the way I see it. I want to start calling out both sides on the government. That's who needs to be both-sided, not the people.
Well, I mean, this is really no different than pro wrestling. There are
exactly.
There are two people in the match. One of them's the baby face, one of them's the heel. And that's not permanent. Next week, next month, next year, the baby face could be the heel. And the heel is the new baby face. And people react accordingly. So it doesn't matter who's in out of the GOP or the Democrats. The roles are pretty much defined already. One of them's got the advantage because they're in power and they're not doing good. And we're the opposition and we fucking hate this and let's get at it. And it doesn't matter which way it is. It always plays out that way.
Yeah.
Hate the game. Oh, man.
So I guess we got through all the topics in our 3 shows we've done today.
I was going to say in the 3rd show.
Yeah. So, sorry to everyone listening and you too, Glenn, about the connection issues. But yeah, next week, one more announcement. Next week, Nolan Hack should be back on. I'm assuming that's what we had talked about. And one of the topics is going to be that they found 20,000 Nigerian girls kidnapped, taken to Mali, and sold into prostitution. That's insane. We're not going to talk about that today. It's something that we're going to talk about next week.
Mali, yeah?
Yeah. That's crazy. 20,000.
Mali, where there's Canadian gold mining, and Canada is part of the UN Peacekeeper mission. Interesting.
Canada's like the secret bad guy in the background that nobody sees, huh?
Oh, but our prime minister's got the coolest socks, man.
Yeah.
And keep your shoes away from us.
Yeah. Wait a minute. I just put 2 and 2 together. You guys steal our shoes to give them to your prime minister so he can have favor upon you as he protects his cool socks.
Now that's a cult.
There's something to this shoe sock thing.
That's a cult. Hang on.
That's a cult. Man, it's ridiculous. This whole world is ridiculous, man. And you know what? As a people, if we would just unite, we can change it. I'm not talking about unite with the racist, Nazi scum. I'm talking about unite with all the good people, all the people that's like-minded to be like, we want to be free, we want to be happy, we want everyone to be fed and clothed and sheltered and taken care of medically and have an education. We want to live happy and free. Those people, we can all take this thing back so quickly if we all united. All the 1 billion or 2 of the people on this planet that want to live like that, maybe more. It's a small minority of people that just hate everything and want to suppress stuff or want to allow themselves to be suppressed by some jackass governments.
I think they're
just waking people up. That's the key. If you can just wake people up, you can get people out there, then we have the numbers, man. That's all we need. We just need the numbers because small groups can't do nothing. They're going to get arrested or killed. In a big group, some will get arrested and killed, but you can keep moving forward. It's not over after that, I'm a big proponent, I can't spoke today, of a worldwide revolution. We need to look at everyone in the world as our family and let's take this thing back. That's how I'm ending it today. Go ahead, Glenn.
I think I forgot. Oh, no. Now I remember. There are billions of people in the world that don't even know what it's to imagine to have a life like the one you described. Never mind defend it. They just don't have a clue of it. So,
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
There's billions of people in the world that don't know what it's like to have a meal on a regular basis or a shelter over their head anytime
yeah.
since birth, you know?
Or an income or
Yeah.
health care or anything.
Yeah.
I mean, when I did the show a couple nights ago, it's one of the facts in the Global Risks Report this year that there are it's just a ridiculous number. It's over 1 billion people who exist on $1.90 US a day or less.
Yeah.
And if they get aid, that counts. Aid's not free. Somebody paid.
Oh, wow.
So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that tells you how really sweet fuck all it is. So, that's the thing. That's the other thing that blows my mind. Here we are in the first world, in the most advanced civilization we've had, depending who you ask, on what subjects. And we're here in this first world, and for every one of us, there's 1,000 people who are living on the dirt with nothing.
At least, yeah.
Yeah, unbelievable.
And it's not even around the world. It's not like, oh, these people are starving in Ethiopia or Nigeria or Bangladesh or wherever. It's like they're right here. They you can walk outside and see people with nothing. I mean, not as much, a little more nothing than the other people's nothing, but still.
It's relative.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, if you can't even care about the people outside your own back door, how do you think you're going to care about people around the world?
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. And it is relative, because I remember going down south to Louisiana, them small little towns and stuff, and I was thinking, like, these cats are broker than us out here.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at, like, the projects in Watts, if a cat has $1, you go to the projects in Louisiana, a cat probably got like 10 cents. You see what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah.
Like, and I remember thinking, dang, us poor people richer, in California than the poor people over here. But I'm out now. Imagine going to another country, or it's even worse than that, where the 10 cents becomes a penny, or not even a full penny,
Well, that's just it. Those people from Louisiana can go across the Gulf to Haiti, and it's the same thing. Yeah,
exactly. It is all relative, like you just said.
But again, on the same thing, when there's somebody who's walking the streets of a city in this world, and they got nothing, it's easy for somebody to say, oh, they're way better than somebody standing in line for gruel in Ethiopia. Well, it's relative. But nobody's feeding them here. Nobody's giving them any clothes here either. It's just relative.
It's just nation thing, man. Like, oh, this is us, this is them, this is you, this is this. Nah, man. We got to look at a human thing. We got to say, if someone's suffering in anywhere, then I'm suffering too. Like, how can you be happy like that? It's like these people. It's like you got to wake up and say, oh, we don't want anyone to suffer.
But that
all suffering.
But that removes all the divisions created for exploitation. We can't have that.
That's the point. I want to just kill them all the divisions, sew them all up. No more divisions. I mean, there's going to be people that are hateful, evil, whatever. Divide them over, get them out of here. But the people who want, like I just said, the people who have common goals, want the same things. We can do this. Anytime y'all ready, let me know. That's about it.
Well, anytime in the near future, with the still proliferation of religion everywhere in this world, the only way that's going to happen is if aliens show up. There'll be nothing short of that will ever unite this planet enough.
You said,
and if I'm an alien out there,
alien.
If I'm an alien out there, I ain't coming here. I'm watching the show.
Well, according to the Trump regime, aliens cross the border every day. How come we're not getting together? No, I always think when they say illegal aliens, I always think of some space people. Because, like, why are you calling people aliens? They're people.
Well, that's not to be confused with those I- immigrants. Those immigrants from Saturn, they're okay, but not the illegal aliens.
Hey. Only the white immigrants from the top side of Saturn, okay?
Yeah, that's true. Northern hemisphere of Saturn, they're fine.
Yeah.
The South is full of terrorists.
Yeah. The dark Saturn, the dark Saturnese people. Are they Saturnese or Saturnites? I'm not sure.
I think it depends which group you're in.
Oh, okay.
Divisions. See, I'm good at this shit.
Oh, man. So, yeah, I guess show's going to be over unless you got something else to say, Glenn.
No, I was just going to say, nice short show.
Cool. Well, thank you, everyone, for listening to Stuart, PM Beers, Judith in the chat. Thank you, Glenn, and we'll catch everybody next week, hopefully without technical
In one show.
difficulties. Yeah, hopefully it'll be one show instead of 3.
Yeah.
Cool. And we're out. Turned down for what? I should have played that.